There is no set of abstract concepts in the Psalms. The Psalms are not distant. They don't feel academic. The theology of the Psalms is deeply personal. Well, the sixth and final thing that I want to say about this introduction to the Psalms is that the Psalms are a theology textbook. At its core, what is theology? Theology, in its essence, is the study of God. And I love the theology of the Psalms. The Psalms are theologically rich and theologically deep. The Psalms entertain for us some of the most significant theological questions. And like I mentioned earlier, we will never ever reach the bottom of our understanding of the theology of God because God's greatness is unsearchable. You can dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, and you will never reach the bottom. I think that we'll be studying the character of God and our relationship to God for all of eternity. But the Psalms do more than just expose us to this rich and deep biblical theology. The Psalms teach us how theology is meant to be done. It's very interesting that there is no set of abstract concepts in the Psalms. The Psalms are not distant. They don't feel academic. They're not impersonal. In fact, the opposite is the case. The theology of the Psalms is deeply personal. It's deeply relational. And it's very clear that in the Psalms you realize that theological belief is not just something you do with your brain. Theological belief is something that you live every day. You could argue from the Psalms that the theology that you live is actually the theology that you believe. I want to take you to Psalm 37, which for me is one of the bright examples of the deeply personal nature of the Psalms. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is a stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? These words were written when David was going through tragic personal things. And he says, the Lord is light. The Lord is salvation. The Lord is stronghold. Now, I don't know what you think about what I said, but what I've done is just given you an example of bad, unbiblical theology. Because I've left a word out that makes what David says completely change. He says, the Lord is my light. The Lord is my salvation. The Lord is my stronghold. He's not saying somewhere out there, somehow there's light, and somewhere out here, somehow there's salvation, and somehow out there, there's a stronghold. No, he's saying, God is this for me. God is light for me. God is salvation for me. God is stronghold for me. And when you handle theology that way, theology doesn't just give you the identity of God, it redefines your identity as a child of God. Let me say that good biblical theology doesn't just define God for you. It redefines who you are as a child of God. That's what theology is meant to do. And as it redefines your identity, it redefines the way you live your life. I guess I'd like to say to you that there better be a big my in the middle of your theology. Because what the Psalms teaches us is all that God is in His magnificent glory and covenantal love. All that God is, He is for us by grace.